Hello, good evening everybody, and welcome back to more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So I never actually noticed this, but the title screen's background changes depending on where you last saved. Like, it actually just uses the background of whatever era you were in. That's kinda cool. Yeah, because we stopped at the prison, and now the prison's the background. It works out pretty well actually, because, the background art of Ace Attorney has always been really good. So yeah, that makes sense. Adds a little flavor to it, for sure. Alright. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no! But why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous! I was just get carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no! What do you mean? Please, tell me! Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words! No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness! Can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unnatural circumstances. Mr. McGilded. What? Ah, I'm impressed, Miss Usato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes. Surely it can't be that, having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Ah! Of course he is! Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Van Zieks is quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Oh, that's good. Soseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial there is both a judge and jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion, in particular, is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury. Which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, it is from time to time, my dear madame. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright. Well, it's the old chestnut, right? Would you rather let an innocent man go to jail, or a guilty man sometimes go free? And I think most of civilized society has landed on innocent until proven otherwise, because sending an innocent man to jail is a far greater injustice than letting a guilty man go free. And that's why the court system is the way it is today, beyond a reasonable doubt for criminal trials. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortunes, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. I knew it. Oh, dead! Dodo! Done for! Doomed! Poor guy. Still a little stressed out. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Gerdap's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn to dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean, the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole. My sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer. Thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. Surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone. Just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really no one at all. To believe? Yes, to believe. Mr. Sholmes. Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Burya, if you recall. The Burya. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe in me? I see, yes. You mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found at the victim in a locked room. Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said, I didn't do it. But, I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I am concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse in my opinion. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right! He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Thank you, Miyafe. You were so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear. There is never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume. If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. Main theme playing in the background too. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Ag! Miss Susato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. I'll see you in court. Yeah. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. Kazuma Mishima. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him. To fight his corner. Tomorrow. In the courtroom. With all the strength I can muster. Character development. Yay. To be continued. Da, 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 da. Right. We've done our investigating. It is time for the court. The Old Bailey. Well, I never expected this. Who would have thought I would be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain, with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! Ah, Mr. Natsume. Good morning. Oh dear. Are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. Wagahai wa neko de aru. Too terrified to tremble. Really? Because like a few tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. You know what that might be, Mr. Sato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Zeeks. Is that right, Mr. Sato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey. He stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeek's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. What a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. Though you wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers. Mundane! Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us! Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Also, I'm pretty sure they're talking about the other case, because this isn't a murder case, this is an assault case. Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity of the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times, it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends of the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man of such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive! Well, let's not forget that it was you, Miss Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student new to London with little in the way of experience or skills. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end. And I will believe in you, Miss Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires. I am in your debt, forever! I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. Alright then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yes! Hi! it. My second appearance in a British courtroom, and my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma, because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last, just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. 20th February, 10 a.m. Oh, the Bailey courtroom! Yeah. I don't know why I did that voice. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The police are truly a fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Susato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Very true, and a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquittal, and his unfortunate and violent end. Hey, wait a minute. Bruce Fairplay. I guess he got called up for jury duty. Alright. Hello. You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. Wait, he's awesome. Right, never mind. Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear. Oh well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. Oh, hang on. Shouldn't this one be recused? You know, here's a fun fact for you guys if you don't know about most jury systems, at least, or at least the American jury system. I don't know if this is true for all juries, but there's this thing called voir dire, where the lawyers can go through the jury box and they can basically reject any jurors that they deem inappropriate, and then they'll swap them out for another juror. Usually, they will also ask the jurors beforehand to, like, if they are capable or incapable. So if you, like, for example, feel really strongly about a case and you feel that you can't be impartial about it, you are supposed to recuse yourself from jury duty. Now, I live in a country that doesn't have like compulsory jury duty, so I've never been in a courtroom, but I wonder if that's the case. Yeah. Either way, like, if this was a real trial, this witness in particular immediately voir dired, probably, or recused from the start, since, you know, they know the person, so, you know, it's just a little odd, I guess. But, you know, this series plays fast and loose with law in general. I mean, in the first place, obviously, even in old-time Britain, the jury does not decide the outcome halfway through the trial. They deliberate at the end of it, you know, after everything is presented, etc, etc. And also, the jury is supposed to have 12 people in it. We have a half-size jury. This is unconstitutional. But, you know, 12 would be a bit much, so fair. Fair. Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt we did it anyway. I just wanted to share some legal trivia that I actually happen to know. Eh, sorry, didn't quite catch that. The judge's voice is going more and more unintelligible. They are all clowns? No, they are the entire circus. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student of that same man, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing while walking down the street. A knife crime. I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are. Just look at that sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Oh no, racism in the courtroom. Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. Do not worry about it. I have hundreds of these glasses. They are all stacked behind me, underneath the desk. They are in a nice pyramid shape. I spent 5 hours before the trial, stacking them nicely that way, even though no one can see it. It brings me satisfaction. Yes, that is the extent of my case practice. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Hello. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir? Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure. Comatose. Her life is not in danger. Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge would not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at the street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running along Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Hang on. Okay, yeah, we do have her in the court record. Question mark, huh? Nobody knows. Alright. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently been treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file of everything we know about the victim so far. Alright, assault with a deadly weapon. Take a look at this. Pavement of Briar Road, East Side. Rolly beat. Alright. That's information we mostly know. Yeah, that checks out. East Side. Assuming up is north. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down that street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the scraggly-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. Chad, if this is getting annoying for the judge, tell me. I'll tone it down. He is very drunk. For all you can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pension, my lord. I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim. Yes! If theft and grievance have been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way. Objection! I think that's also assault with a deadly weapon, sir. You should be on trial. You can't just do that and then apologize for it. You know that actually does count as assault. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's assault. Pray forgive this courtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle to the public gallery. But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my good friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely what a constabulary came to arrest a Nipponese student. Yes, sir? As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind, and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Alright. I can't read these book titles. They're in Pokemon letters. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat, denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Mr. Sato? Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, now that you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us why it all happened. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was. And just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. A green overcoat. But that's exactly what the woman in that print is wearing. Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What would the world come up with next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean that he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Alright. Hold it! A light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You can see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much further, though. That's light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. Why is everyone so racist? I've read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Susato-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. Yeah, it's the 1900s, all of them are racist, that's fair. The Japanese are also racist. However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused.
Hold it!
How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my little friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That is correct, ma'am. Then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen... I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Ah! The prosecution believes that there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime. Which means we really need to hear those witnesses' statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we will be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector.
Hold it!
From behind, you say? That's right. As you can see from this print. Yes, Inspector. I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's being treated at Bart's. I was hopeful that she'd come round before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Luck is on your client's side, it seems. Huh? On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly white eyes, I'm afraid. Alright.
Hold it!
Mr. Natsume's belongings, I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were, irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there. Back? It must be what happened, my lord, yes.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The book's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street maps again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings is this place here, Bourbon Books. The little place on the corner of Briar Road and I don't know how to say that word. Mearsham Street? As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. Well, at least we get more deeds. Inspector. Shop. There's another though. I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being name. The bookshop's name. It's different. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe. Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes, it could be a very important clue. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? Alright. Presenting this receipt.
Objection!
If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. Oh, sunshine. I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. And you found that in the accused's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books. Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. What? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that... well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
But in fact, that is the bookshop with which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Yes, but what difference it makes? Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection!
I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the street map here if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place when Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, your books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true? My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir, what you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Establishment. Well, obviously we look into that. It turns out that your books is just here on the next corner of Meerschaum Street going east. Alright, that... It depends. Depends on whether he walked down that way or he walked down the other way then. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. I knew that stack of liquor under the desk would come in handy. My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus. The meme. He said the thing, chat. Clap, clap. Chat, clap. He said the thing. Ooh, yeah, baby. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo. Okay. You put that glass down now, I'll put it for you. I, didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from your books instead of Bourbon books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Are we all just ignoring that he could have walked down the other street then? I don't know. Allow me to reiterate from my learned if somewhat slow Nipponese friend. My fist is now bleeding. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Also, somebody call the bailiff. I am bleeding out. All over the desk. I will perish in 5 minutes. This is why they call me the Reaper of the Old Bailey. Because death is always just around the corner. Please clap, chat. I put a lot of effort into that. Never mind, it was him that died. Real no skates, the one who died. As I suspected, you can't fool me. And I don't suggest you try. What did I say, eh? I've had enough of this now. Beg your pardon? Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that? Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't give up. What? What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Ah, she's absolutely right. You must think. You must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. It claims Soseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but... yeah, I mean, that's the other route. I don't know. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. Yeah, see, I mean, this is really obvious, right? Like, come on. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way around. Ah. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings, and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection!
But... Aha, yes, I've got it! Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accuser's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. Yeah, that's the thing. This line of questioning isn't going anywhere because we know from his testimony he did walk by, so we're barking up the wrong tree, but we know we have to do it anyway. You know, we have to point out the logical fallacy anyway. That's right, as I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He said he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. We are just stalling, yeah. I don't believe this! I thank you, my learned friend. I suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still... Who's this? Hold it! Oh, Mr. Bruce Fairplay? What do you want? I agree with Lord Van Zeeks. Wholeheartedly, and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean? We members of the jury are completely convinced now.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Every court case is gonna do this, isn't it? Right? Because we have to do the... We have to do the jury deliberation. So they're going to force it into an early guilty verdict every single time. Right? Tell me they're not gonna do that. They're gonna do that, right? To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You served Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhodo. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of the scales the other way. I have to Gyakuten Saiban. Somehow. Those are the eyes of Cory, are they willing to give up and die? So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with the Nipponese whippersnapper and his uncle's refusal to throw in his alley. Juries don't work like this, by the way. Not at all. Also, summary judgment is an entirely different thing. But, you know, game mechanics are gonna game mechanics. For pity's sake, the little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it can only have been the victim. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Your books, yes. Nice shop, that. A bourbon books? No, not worth a visit. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? This is Naruhodo. This is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue... Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. Examination. Yes, my lord. Whoa, yo. James Bell, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing just now? Should do a shout out. Is this how we do it? No? Oh wait, that's the Nightbot command. Right. Where is the option to do that? Darn it. There's like a new function that allows you to do shoutouts right in Twitch. Oh well, I'll figure it out at the time. I'm sorry. Anyways, go check James Bell out. Really good Pokken player. Very cool guy. And I'm angry now because I can't find the shoutout option. Alright. Twitch be Twitch. Okay, yeah, we are in the middle of Great Ace Attorney, so let us continue. Come on, Rinosuke, you can do it. Jury examination. Alright. I guess we just press all of them first to figure out.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but aren't you... Yes, that's right. I was at a witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Or the sight of it, anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started fussing around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute. Sorry? Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. Oh, well, you know. Water under the bridge. Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop. If I could turn back the clock. Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. I'm free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. Alright, press this one.
Hold it!
You're right at the time of the incident. The defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him. Oh quite, that's precisely my point. Clearly that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit. But let us not forget, madame, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman. Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward, honestly. Tell me the woman simply collapsed before his eyes. But if that's a lie as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible? Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds? Casual racism in the British courts in the 1800s. I could tell you what's going on through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it. I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could have possibly committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple. It's compelling in its ability, I must admit. Oh my, you are too kind, my lord. That went well, for her. The man would have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in him.
Hold it!
But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books. Oh yes, like he drew on the map, you mean. What was it? Calabash Road or something? Precisely. But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Well, yes, that's true. And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there? Well, yes, that's true as well. And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he? Well, yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes. Why is all this true? So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. Ah, I'm supposed to be convincing you here. I have given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone to Calabash Roadway, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honest, I would. A reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one. Alright, thanks for dropping by, James. Appreciate it. Alright, I guess we'll check the court record. Do we have anything? Oh wait, we haven't examined the knife yet. Oh, it's just a switchblade. Okay, there's nothing to examine. I think this is just a sample knife then. There's no blood on it. Alright, let me think about this. There is one thing odd, I guess. Although I don't know if it's pertinent to the case. She is very carefully lying down in a pile of, like, no snow. So, like, the snow has been cleared away around where she's fallen. But I don't know if it's coincidence or not. Because I guess it's probably relevant, the fact that she's, like, on the pavement and not, like, on snow. It probably means that, like, you know, maybe we'll argue later on that, like, you know, it was snowing really heavily. The place should have had snow, so she would have fallen onto snow. So why would the snow in the books... So why would she and the books be just on cleared ground, you know? And also, if it was... But if it was cleared that way specifically, why isn't the rest of the... Why isn't the rest of the area cleared? On the other hand, maybe the police cleared it away? I don't know, that's why... So it may or may not be a thing. Yeah, I don't have any proof yet, I don't think. This is a tricky one. We'll probably get more info out of the old man at the back. Who's talking about the bookcases. Sorry, the bookcases, the bookshops. Whatever is the matter, young man? You're the wife of Mr. Garrett, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume his room. The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid! The maid, you understand. Just keeping up the charade. This is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you've been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean. Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice. I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he? Yes, that's right, although he's only been in a little over a week now. And in that time, surely he must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who will commit a crime such as this? Oh my goodness me, yes, he's just the sort. What? Spending all his time in that dark and dingy rooms, sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, I better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She said enough damning things already. Yeah... Most of the witnesses are... most of the jury is not cooperating with us right now. And this guy just wants to be recused. He should have said so. I'm pretty sure you can recuse yourself if you were really that hard on about it.
Hold it!
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's. Ah. The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do the wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn to dusk, it is. That's a lead. So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was. What? Another coincidence. That's right, Meerschaum Street it was. Meerschaum Street? On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Also, it's awfully convenient that so many of these jurors are like related to the case somehow and are giving us new information. Imagine if they really were just 6 random people across London and it had nothing to do with any of this. Where will we be now, Mr. Naruhodo? Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point in that? Can we just get this business over with now? Please, sir. It's important. Fine, I'll do it then. They have a... street from dawn to dusk. Yeah, that means he had to have gone by the other road. So do we go back here and... we can now pit this juror, I think. These 2.
Objection!
Right. Those 2 statements are clearly at odds with one another. Please, don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. Eh? What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3? Oh, me, sir. What do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on a map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of second-hand books. And on the same day, we now know there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impossible. Which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. But what do you think, sir? Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose that must be right, eh? Juror number 3, you said the following. The man who wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But, we see now that he had no choice. Yes. My lord Mr. Judge, sir, if I may. Yes? I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Alright, on and offside. What about you, sir? Who? Me? Well. Alright then. There's a hole in the prosecution's argument. It should be filled in, that's what I say. Two on our side. For now. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds at least. It strengthened our position somewhat. Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only... if we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that will make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Van Ziegs is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, by whatever means we have at our disposal. Thank you, Counselor. The summation examination, please. Yes, my lord. Alright. So here's the interesting thing now then. I guess that means she wasn't stabbed on Briar Road, she was stabbed like here. Like along here. Or either here or here, I guess. If this part is unpassable. And then someone moved the body? It's possible. Nobody knows exactly where after all. Get more info from you. Huh? Sorry? Hold it, you say? Hold what? No, what I said was, hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Wow! Dude, like, do you know how infinitesimal the chances are for all, okay, not all, but like most of the jury here to have some relevance to the case? That is a huge coincidence. In fact, they would be part of the witnesses, if anything, at this point. Right? If they were in close proximity on the day. That's wacky. And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking up books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you see. Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time? Oh yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had. What do you mean? Oh, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and dunked my head. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road. That's right, I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books. Juror number 6, I must insist. That you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant. Huh? Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright now. Alright, we got some new in. We changed 2 of the jurors' minds, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, just 2 more to go. Deliver the finishing blow now. It's time to turn the tables here. Wish I knew how to do a subtle takedown. I suppose words will have to suffice for now. I guess the snow is, snow is relevant then? No! Is that what they're saying? Really? Chat, this is alright. I know like I'm suspending my disbelief on most of this stuff, but like dude, the coincidences on this jury is insane. Are all juries gonna be like this? I mean, I get it. It's probably gonna be for gameplay purposes, but like, really? All the juries are just gonna conveniently have people relevant to the case sitting there? Are you serious?
Objection!
I cannot believe this. Those two statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about? Wow, I'm so shocked I gave the judge normal voice. Well, juror number 2? Juror number 6? My, whatever do you mean, sir? I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are all well aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, madame? My, whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood. Oh my. My goodness, you mean... That's right. I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6. What are the odds? Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that. My goodness me. Huh? Sorry? You need a pee? And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, if the person whom Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly, the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. Oh my. And in fact, he didn't even witness... He didn't even witness the old lady. He's right, not the old lady. He didn't even witness the lady. Oh, no. You idiot, old man. If you had been so daft as to be roaming about there, we would boxed us off hours ago. And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat? What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it? I just realized he looks like Detective Gumshoe. Or at least that looks like Detective Gumshoe's coat. Hold it! My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but... to change your leaning, I presume. I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you. And I would too! What? Is it a crime to change your mind, is it? Well... we've at least gotten out of that pickle. Yes, sir, the nose full. No, sorry, no good to you, sir.
Objection!
It's actually a red herring. Well, you didn't have to tell me that. We're about to get there. Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hollow, chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks. It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited these jurors of intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Eh? Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed. Stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims. I believe he said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which we are excavating, sir. That's right. It took me the whole day and he paid me a measly tuppence for it. Now, my learned Japanese friend, tell me. Do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, a distance rarely vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Eh? Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no. What? And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works? Eh? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, and we just turn any gentlefolk back when they come. Kids just jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentleman, as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town. Ah! Is that true? Is it? The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Dutton walked down Briar Road. Good point. I forgot about that. The books were there. So he definitely passed by there. Unless they were punted, I guess. But even then, yeah, alright. You know what? Yeah, I got ahead of myself. Crushed in a single sentence. And old man. Cold man, you can talk. You say that at around 5 o'clock the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you at that time? Oh, I can't say it as I remember. You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that you saw. But I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. Ah! My lord? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and the epic reach. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What are you talking about? My lord! The prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand. Oh, really? We just have to go through that song and dance just to say that? Like, okay. You know what? Even throws his cape like Dracula. But enough talk! Have at you! Witnesses. It's next witnesses. Listen, Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid it's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Van Zeeks brings to the stand as his witness, and no matter what they say. I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Alright, we have witnesses on the stand now. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. My voice is so cool. Constable... Playful music, Toy Soldier March music, Constable Royally Beats, Nothing robots in the streets, And now I'm Mrs. Beat. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife. Petro, I get it. What's the story here? Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, the constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. But a London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat? That's right, sir. Isn't it, Rowley? Constable Riley Beats, sir! Not in reports on the streets, sir. What a great witness he's going to be. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You tell the court exactly what you saw yesterday of the incident. Yes, sir. I'm in me. Alright. Okay. We finished our little jury summation, and we've made it all the way to our first witness of this case. I think this is probably a good place to take a break, chat. Hope you don't mind. I'm gonna save here. About an hour and a half in. I think we'll continue with It's probably gonna... This is the last cross-examination of trial part 1. That's fine. Yeah, I think this probably be a good place to stop then, in that case. Because we'll have a cross-examination, and then we'll have to do... There's gonna be a whole lot of back and forth. We're gonna have to, like, elucidate more information and all that stuff, so that'll probably be good for another stream, I guess. And if it isn't, then hey, we can just go straight into investigation for the next session. So we will call it at that for now. Thank you for watching, and yeah, we'll catch you soon for more Great Ace Attorney.